Uh-oh. No, wait, I think we got sound. Testing, testing, 1, 2, 3. Can you hear me? Do I have a pencil down here? I do, yay! Yay, you can hear, fantastic. Let's get... Huzzah! Alright, let's get the rings and the bracelets off, because otherwise I'm gonna get glaze all over them. Alright, I got my sponge, I got my glazes, I got my pencil for roughing out the pattern. This will be easy because it's just solid black. Actually, do I want it to be solid black or do I want to give them red tips? No, that'll make it look like something else entirely. Oh, what if I did? Nah, I kind of want to keep it all inky black shadows. Oh, although, I suppose. Yeah, heck with it. I like this glaze. This is for me. It's not for sale, so I can do whatever the heck I want, right? Yay. Make sure our glaze is well shaken. All right, Alistair, you're gonna get scooched over there. Crow, you're gonna get scooched over there. So I think what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna do the tentacles with a glossy black gloss. But the base I'm gonna do with obsidian, which is black, but it has these little bits of frit in it that cause little blue kind of starbursts that I think will look kind of like magic, which I think will be really neat. So that's what we're gonna go with. Oh god. The only problem is the bits of glaze. Oh goodness, that get in the threading of the container and then make it a little bit tricky to get these bottles open. Oh my goodness. Yes, we love star effect. I love the crystal glazes. They're so much fun. They're not as predictable as just the, like, I guess I'd call them regular solid color glazes, but I mean, to me, that's part of the fun. You don't quite know exactly what you're going to get. You have a little bit less control. And sometimes that's nice, you know? God, you're getting more of my arms than you are of the actual stuff that oh, excuse me, stuff that I'm doing. Hiccups. Let's see if we cannot configure this. And are we panning or tilting our camera? We are panning. Okay, there we go. Ta-da! Can we zoom out a wee bit? Ah, there we go. Do that, and okay, and now... Ugh. Alright, now I feel like we could see a little bit better. Yeah, man, the crystal glazes kind of do what they want when they want. You can, to some extent, predict the, ew, why is my brush crunchy? You can, to some extent, predict the results, but not completely. And I'm gonna be honest, I kind of dig that. Because I feel like that is a little bit more freeing. You know, you just sort of have to go, oh, well, it'll be what it'll be, you know? And that sort of lets you go and lets you just kind of not feel as though, oh, well, I have to do X, Y, Z, and if I don't do it exactly like this, it's not going to turn out exactly as I want. Well, it's probably not going to turn out exactly as you're planning anyway, so just sort of go with it. Ick, now watch, all of my crystals are at the bottom. Do I have a dowel or anything to easily mix? Ugh! No, I've got my paintbrush. Oh, okay. I guess that'll be what that'll be. Yeah, I mean, I look at ceramics, or at least glazing in ceramics, kind of like a chemistry experiment, you know? Depends on the heat of the kiln, depends on how fast it ramps up, depends on how much, you know, oxygen gets in there. It depends on so many things. I mean, at least for me, maybe for more experienced ceramicists, but for me, it's almost impossible to exactly predict. Oh, you hear that? You hear all that crunch? That's what we want. We want to get all those nice little lumpy crystals. But there's just so many variables with ceramics that, at least for me, it's been almost impossible to have the exact same result twice in a row, unless I'm super following and super cognizant of all of the variables. And I mean, I don't have my own kiln. I get my stuff fired at a studio, so I sort of can't. That necessitates me being okay with having less control over the end result, but I find I don't mind it. There's so many other bits of art and different mediums that I work with that, you know, I'm going, okay, well, it needs to look exactly like this. It needs to do this. I need to do this. So I think there's almost something kind of refreshing about, oh, well, it'll do what it wants, you know. Cross your fingers and hope. Because it's not necessarily gonna do exactly what you think it's gonna do. And with this, I've got to sort of be aware of that and be okay with it. And it's freeing in a way. You know, because it's like, oh, well, it's gonna do what it'll do. And if you're not okay with kind of letting go of a little bit of control, then, you know, maybe this isn't the medium for you. I mean, I know there's ceramicists that have been doing this for vastly longer than I have, and they are able to more accurately predict what they are doing. But truthfully, even they have moments where they're surprised. And that's okay. At least to me, that's part of the fun of ceramics. You know, if I paint something with acrylics, it looks exactly like I paint it. The paint stays where it is, and, you know, aside from maybe a shade or two difference as it dries, it looks like how I expect it to look. There's not really any surprises. So with ceramics, whenever I go to pick up my stuff from the kiln, if I'm opening the kiln, it kind of feels like opening a Christmas present. You don't know what it is. It's a surprise. That's kind of fun, honestly. At least I find it fun. Okay, it's gonna go there. I want to... Oops. Not what I wanted to do. Alright, well let's see if... Ah, that works. And the nice part is it's for me. This one is just a personal piece, so I don't have to worry quite as much about, oh, it's not going to come out exactly as planned. That's okay. I mean, I'm not mixing underglazes with regular glazes this time around, so hopefully. Last time I mixed underglazes and overglazes and mason stains, and it did not quite work out the way I'd hoped. Which is fine, it was an experiment. Bisque fired, but they're still pretty thin, so I'm trying not to put too much pressure. There we go. I am definitely going to want to prop this one up. We'll let that dry a wee bit. Yeah, and then we'll get another coat on there. And then we'll go to the glossy black glaze and get a couple of coats of that on the tentacles. I guess in the meantime, I can scoot that off to the side a wee bit. And can I get you to cooperate and sit still? There we go. All right. Alright, while your base is drying a little bit for the second coat, let's start drawing out how we want your colors to be on your body, sir. Well, let's see. I definitely want a mask. This is fun. This is kind of my celebration for having finished a big commission, because I don't actually remember the last time I did something, A, just because I wanted to, but B, for me, that I get to keep the finished product, so I'm kind of psyched about this. I get to have a little time on a personal project as a treat. Alright, so we got our white mask. I guess I kind of want to... Do I want to, though? No, I kind of like that separate as a mask. We'll start the underbelly here. And what I'm going to do for his antlers is sculpt and mold and then cast black epoxy. And I'm gonna try and add some glow-in-the-dark pigment in it. And those will get attached in once he's done and fired and the antlers are done. Because I didn't trust, because I want them big and kind of branching and freaky like in his demon form, I didn't quite trust doing it in ceramics because for one, it would be trickier to dry something that thin at the same kind of general time frame as the rest of him, but also I frankly did not trust getting that to the ceramic studio while it was bone dry but not fired without bumping into something and breaking. So. Yippee! Hey Dozer, how you doing, hon? Good morning. Do do do. Drawing on a deer butt. Yeah, my man, you and me both. You and me both. Let's see. How do I do? Because he's got... I didn't give mine hair. So... kind of want to... black there. Yeah, I am attempting to make plans and figuring out what time I'm gonna leave home and head up to Jen's and I am told Baltimore during rush hour is not fun, so I definitely want the black on his ears. I know, she was telling me, and it's like, ah, shit. We had originally planned on me heading to her place on Wednesday, crashing the night, and then heading to the hotel on Thursday and finding out there's an Orioles game. She was like, we might want to, like, have you get here and do a potty break and load the stuff up into the car and immediately go to the hotel because otherwise parking might be a little bit of an adventure. It probably still will be an adventure. So we'll see. We've got to load up all her stuff because it's at her folks' house, so... well, her con setup, her dealer's table setup. So that'll be interesting. And I mean, first year in a new hotel is always a little bit like, ah, so that'll be fun. Was cutting out monster faces last night because I had gone to the library and embroidered a bunch of face plates, so kind of sitting, chatting with friends, and cutting what felt like 11 billion monster faces. It wasn't, but it was a lot because I've got I'm not only doing the monster plushie panel. Furthermore, apparently our local library, my friend that works there, they're looking for more teen programming. And so he approached me about like, oh, you know, the plushies you do, would you be willing to maybe do a class for the teens? And I was like, yeah, sure. So, and then the queer pride group that we volunteer with for our town's teen night, they're having some sort of they're calling it a summit, but like basically a gathering, and they were asking about the plushies. So I'm gonna need a lot of monster faces in the very near future and a lot of pattern pieces cut out. So that's probably going to be my next couple of weekends, at least until the con, is scrambling and playing with the laser cutter to cut out all those fur pieces. Good gosh. I really kind of want to make that. Oh, my hands are smudging off the pencil. Oh, till Wednesday, not sure if I'm going to take that day off of work. Whoo, you are going to be busy. All right. Oh my goodness, excuse me. And I had tea this morning. Ha. All right. I really wish I had a palette in here, and I do not. That certainly makes things a little bit more difficult. Ooh. Maybe? Not ideal. But... yeah, okay, what's the phrase? Good enough for government work? We're gonna use that for our glazes. Very true. I am a firm believer that if you have the off time, that it makes things considerably less stressful when you get to conventions a day early, just because you're not scrambling to hit the ground running, if that makes sense. At least from a dealer perspective, I cannot speak to staff because I don't staff, but feels a little less like you're driving in, hitting the ground, and immediately starting to scramble. That's what we tend to do for Anthrocon too. We all drive in on Wednesday, although there's less time to rest on Wednesday because it's almost a 10-hour drive from me to get there. But I don't think I'll have to mix this one up too much, which is nice. It's just, it feels less stressful getting in on Wednesday. Yeah, our GPS is like 8.5 hours, but with a kid in the car and potty breaks and gas and getting food, it's closer to 10 realistically. It always feels like it takes forever. I love AC. I don't love the drive. Definitely makes me wish that oh, maybe I won't need this. Teleportation technology was a thing. Or that I had a TARDIS. Either of those would be great. Alright. So, little dear friend, let's start with the red, because then, in theory, I still have places to hold. It's a long drive for sure. Not as long as MFF. I did that drive once with a friend where we took my car and we were driving, and I will not do it again. That's why I started taking the train. It's just so much freaking easier. It's worth the expense of the train for MFF to just sit back and relax and be able to sleep on the way. The first year I took a train to MFF, I was like, holy crap. Because I arrived and I wasn't just dead exhausted and feeling wrung out already, and it was amazing. I feel like it made a heck of a lot of difference for the entire rest of the weekend because you didn't arrive feeling just wrung out and sleep deprived and crunchy from being hunched over in a car seat driving for, God, that one's like 22, 23 hours for us. It was awful. And that was with my friend and I driving to a friend's house in Michigan, staying the night, and then we all continued on the remaining 5 hours of the trip from her house the next day. I traveled one year with other friends, and one person drove the entire way. And it was fucking awful, man. That's a hellaciously long drive. And definitely not one I enjoyed or am at all interested in doing again. I'm too old, man. I'm not in my 20s anymore. I am not as resilient as I used to be. Driving to MFF, at least for me, based on where we live, is one of those, like, when you're young and in your 20s and, you know, your back's not bad and achy. Yeah, sure, why not? But start getting a little older and it's like, do I really want to do that? Do I want to work all weekend smiling and trying to be friendly and engaging with people after being trapped in a car for almost a full day driving? Nah. Nah, not interested. Yeah, that's the thing, because between tolls and parking and, at least in my case, wear and tear on your car, because I'm driving a Toyota Prius and she's like 22, 23 years old at this point. So, you know, as it is, I bring her to our mechanic and have him run a full checkup and diagnostic before we drive to AC. I'm like, all right, give her the once over, driving to Pittsburgh again. Tires good, fluids good, belts good, everything okay? We good? Yeah? All right, great. And it gives me a chance to have him just like, oh, well, you know, these belts need to be replaced. This filter really is on its way out, or whatever. You know, obviously it's not foolproof. Shit still happens, knock wood. But I find it gives a little bit of peace of mind, just, you know, anything that's immediately noticeable. I have him tweak and fix and get it running well before we make that trip, because it's long. I can't imagine making that trip with her now, all the way to MFF. That'd be crazy. And yeah, it's funny that you mentioned being able to telework, because normally I get to a con and I'm like going, all right, you know, I kind of did my draw up and, you know, I've got an idea of what I want the table to look like and yada, yada, yada. Meanwhile, for MFF that year, I literally sat down because you're in a train for 20 plus hours. But I was able to just sit and go, all right, cool. I'm going to plan out my entire table. I'm going to draw it out with a grid pattern. And I arrived, and Zia, who was my table assistant that year, was like, holy crap. What is this? I was like, this is me being stuck on a train for 20 plus hours with nowhere to go and limited things to do, because the internet signal kind of, you know, wasn't always fantastic depending on where we were and how fast we were traveling. So I said to heck with it, opened up my drawing app and just drew my table setup. She's like, this is so easy, you should do this everywhere you go, like for all the cons. It does make things easier. It was a very low stress setup that year. But yeah, with gas prices being what they are, with tolls being what they are, it just made more sense, man. And because I had multiple large bags with me, because I had all of my dealer stuff, I had all my merch and all of my, well, some of my setup, some of it I had shipped to my assistant. But I said, to heck with it, let me look into, you know, what the seating options are. And I actually ended up getting a roomette, which was an expense. It was more than a plane ticket would have been. But the nice part was I had two enormous bags plus my overnight duffel with all my clothes and crap. Nobody gave me any crap, because, you know, you're in your own little room space. You know, you fill it up as you want. And none of my breakables ever left my site. So unlike shipping them, or unlike, you know, trusting TSA with them, everything arrived. Nothing was broken. Everything was in good shape. And I had space to kind of stretch out and sleep, because we drove through the night to get from where I am all the way to Chicago. And it truly did not suck. I found it was worth the price of admission. You know, your mileage may vary, but it was a good experience for me. They include your meals. So I was able to go into the food car and get some surprisingly pretty decent food. Better than it would have been on an airline. Legit. It was pretty tasty. I actually, on the ride home, I saved the brownie, prepackaged brownie thingy that was the dessert for one of the meals, and brought it home to the kid, and they were like, this is really good. I was like, I know, right? So, And like you could fit 2 people in a roomette. It would be cozy. But especially if it's someone that you know or are close to, like I was talking to the kid about, oh well, maybe when you're a little older, if you want to go with mommy to that particular con, we get a roomette again and just we chill. Because yeah, it did make a huge difference arriving, having gotten a full night's sleep. Not crunchy and uncomfortable because I'd been hunched over a steering wheel for so many hours, just able to spread out and stretch and kind of move and get up and walk the train a bit when I needed to. And actually, the way there was really cool, because the roomette that I was in, the particular one that I was in, had its own toilet, so didn't even have to go to the restroom in the rest of the car and attempt to stand up straight while the train is going, because that's an experience the first time. But yeah, it was nice. I felt that it was worth it for what you got and for the ability to arrive at my destination a day later, well rested and relatively comfortable and with all my stuff, in hand. I was fair pleased. Plus the folks on the train employees were super helpful. Like I had 2 enormous rolling suitcases, and so when I got there, and they were boarding, the gentleman there helped me get the stuff to my little roomette cabin thingy and was very nice about it and helped me when, we disembarked. So it was a good experience. Be interesting to see what parking is like at Furthermore this year with the game going. I'm hoping that by getting to the hotel Wednesday, it's a little less hectic. We'll see. Ooh, excuse me. That would be nice. I'm curious what's in the area. Supposedly, according to my GPS, depending on when I leave, I am theoretically getting to Kiwis. The goal is to get there by like 2, or a little bit before. So, providing traffic isn't completely ridiculous, we should be in Baltimore around 3. Which will work, because hopefully we'll be able to check in at that point. I went over on that a little bit. That's okay. I will scrape it, and the fact that I'm going to do the other marking in black, that should cover it. I'm probably leaving at around 7. 7 or 8. I'm gonna have to poke Clint and see, because I know Connecticut kind of sucks for traffic in the morning during rush hour. And there is not construction. Oh, that was a good joke. Um, there's almost always construction on 95. Almost always. It's a joke with friends. They could be coming from Jersey or New York or wherever, and it's like, oh, we're doing pretty good. We're making pretty good time. And then they hit the Connecticut border, and it's like, and it crawls. Because construction always, yeah, see, Kudu knows. It's like, oh, we're making pretty good time. Yeah, we haven't hit the Connecticut border yet. What do you mean? Oh. And suddenly it takes you 2 hours to go 20 miles. It's ridiculous. I honestly feel like it's sort of a game for the DOT that they wait until rush hour to schedule their construction in our state. Yeah, that is entirely possible. It's funny, it makes me kind of flash back to the days when I was playing World of Warcraft, and like you'd be on a quest and you're looking for, I don't know, sheepskins, right? Like, oh, you need sheep's wool or something like that. Okay, cool. Oh, I'm going to this area. There's all these sheep, wandering around. I need 20 sheep pelts. That's no problem. Shouldn't take me long, because, you've been killing sheep along your travels, and almost all of them drop a sheepskin. So cool, this will be easy. You start the quest, and immediately sheep start dropping everything but the wool. And I used to joke with friends, it's like, yeah, the developers are on the other end going like, oh, they picked up the quest. Okay, you ready to lower the drop rate? Cool. And now, yes, I killed a sheep. Why did it drop wood? I mean, wood and wool both start with W, but where is the sheep getting? Oh, it's dropping weapons now? What the hell? Fish scales? That doesn't make any sense. I feel like my state's traffic is kind of like that. They wait until the most inconvenient and obnoxious time to do any kind of construction. And then they pick the areas where it's going to hit the worst and go, all right, cool, you ready? Ready? It's almost rush hour, and now start our construction. Get the construction crews out, have them prep, and now start construction right now, right when everyone's getting out of work. It's like, guys, really? I respect the troll game, but ugh. See, this is why transportation is like, ugh, and teleportation would be amazing. I need a TARDIS to get to and from conventions. Which would be awesome on so many levels, because then you wouldn't even need to worry about a hotel. Get all your friends like, no, nobody needs a hotel room. It's cool. There's plenty of space. She's bigger on the inside. Oh man, I sold out of, XYZ item. I know. Let me go to a week ago. Although, to be fair, given that Idris was always dumping him places he needed to be, not necessarily places he wanted to go. Like, hey, she dropped me back in high school where I was deciding that art is what I wanted to do with my life. Wait, what does this mean? What is she trying to tell me? I love doing art. It is not an easy field. It is not a yeah, seriously. I love doing art. It is not an easy field to go into. It is definitely not an easy field to make a survivable living on. And I mean realistically, if you're working for yourself, you put in so many more hours than if you worked a 9 to 5. But like legit, I wouldn't trade it. I enjoy what I do even when projects are frustrating, even when I'm tired and things aren't going quite the way I had planned. I'm still getting to follow that passion. Alright, your first coat of red is on. Do I? Yes, I do. Cool. We're gonna just fix your tail up a teeny bit. It's probably not gonna matter. Whoop. Let's not break. Okay, there we go. Now it's nice and clean. Alright, you go over there for now. We're gonna do a second coat of the sparkly crystal stuff. The crystal glaze is kind of a pain in that the frit settles pretty quickly, so you've got to kind of keep on top of mixing your glaze in between. Oh my gosh, it's 11:30 already. This is the kids' last day before spring break. They are counting down the minutes because they get 2 weeks off and they are very excited. Yeah, so see all of these, I think you can see it on the camera. All those tiny little lumps in the glaze are little itty bitty bits of glass frit that kind of pops and crackles and starbursts when the glaze is fired. So these fun little bumps at the bottom of the incense burner should, in theory, give me some cool looking little pops of blue and white. Probably be more on brand for him if it were blue and green, but that's okay. It's a very pretty glaze, and I like it. And since this is for me, look at that. I don't have to worry about specific colors or it being canon or any of that silliness. Like, nope. Doing it how I want. I'm definitely going to have to prop this up on something while it's firing, though, because the thing about crystal glazes is they tend to run, and we don't want to glue this to the kiln shelf or even a kiln cookie, so I will probably do my little props, little flat pieces for it to be raised up on, and then a kiln cookie under it. I may even throw together kind of a cookie with raised up edges so that it properly catches the glaze. That way there's no worries with any drips. Ooh, oh, I'm glad it didn't land on the tentacle. That would have been harder to clean off. I'm applying this a little bit thicker, so I think I can get away with 2 coats on this. All right. Let's be responsible ceramicists and clean the lid of our bottle, because future me will thank me if I'm not having to pry this thing open with a crowbar. Oh, did I? No, I didn't smudge it. Okay, good. Oop. The little things you do to make life easier for future you. I find that all the glazes do this to a certain extent, but the crystal glazes are worse because of all the little gritty bits. They just, like, cement everything in place so that you're fighting to get your glaze containers open. Is not fun. I do not enjoy it. All right, tentacles go off to the side, and we do another coat of red. I'll be right back. I'm gonna clean my water just because the red is so much lighter than the black. And when I clean my brushes, I would like them to actually be clean and not end up with my glaze looking muddy. He's such a good boy. Wilder is curled up on his doggy bed right next to me. Like, I want to be near Mama. Okay. Let's see if I can maybe use the bigger brush. Oh, that'd be kind of fun. We'll see. I'll get the red on there, and then I'll see if I wanna one of the sample images has like little spots like baby deer, which I think would actually be really cute. But I don't necessarily know how well that would work. Need to scrape the glaze off and then hope the white covers. So now we're getting to the, rest my hand there, yes I can, slightly more interesting stage of things, because I'm trying not to touch the red because I don't want to smudge or wipe off the glaze. Reasons I have chosen to leave the feet bare for right now. Dozer, are you at all familiar with the area? Do you know what's good around there for food? I shall need to Google Maps. It's funny, we've got one friend coming in that's all excited because there's a seafood place, and she's like, oh, good lobster, good crab. It's like, oh, right, you're in Chicago. I'm on the shoreline, man. Good seafood is less than 20 minutes away for me. Maybe not quite as good as like Maine, but home state is definitely not lacking for good fresh seafood. This is legitimately the first year in this location, right? Pratt Street Ale House. Ah. Good to know. I'm curious because now thinking about it, I've gone to Furthermore at multiple different hotel locations, so it'll be interesting to see what this one's like, what the hotel staff is like. I'm hoping they're friendly, man, because there's a definite difference in vibe between hotel staff that are into the idea of furries descending and hotel staff that are tolerating because they have to. And there was definitely one hotel that furthermore was in one year that was just like, ugh, these furry people. They were not thrilled we were there. Hyatt Regency, that sounds familiar. I just remember that it was cool in the room and we had asked for an extra blanket because we had the kid with us and they were little at the time. And like front desk was kind of and didn't seem too thrilled. And they went and they got us a blanket. They gave it to us, and I was like, "This looks weird." And we got up to the room and held it up to the light, and it's like, "Oh, it's all moldy inside. Cool, that's awesome." Needless to say, we did not end up using that blanket. It was gross, but it was a very unwelcome vibe, for sure. I think some of it too is I might be spoiled because going to AC, like Pittsburgh, at least for the most part, the hotels and businesses nearby seem to love Anthrocon, and I'm sure, you know, bringing millions into the city over the course of a weekend doesn't hurt. But they just felt way more welcoming. No, crap. I totally just smudged my tentacles. Alright. It's okay, we have the technology, we can fix it. Yeah. Honestly, when I'm doing any kind of painting, glazing, etc., it's why I tend to keep Lysol or baby wipes with me because they're really great at catching those little oopsies. There we go. All better. Could have been worse. I could have intended the tentacles to be white and they could have already been glazed. That would have been a way bigger pain in the ass. That would have been a no instead of a shit. Danny, it's almost like you talk as though you've done that before. Yup. Yup. There's a reason I'm doing the red of his body before the white of his mask and underbelly. It's like, let's slather on the red first. Gosh, it's one of the reasons I was so nervous when it came time to do the pink markings on the fox, because I had the head all glued down. I had the fur all glued down and shaved, and it was just white on white on white. And it's one of those, please don't let me screw this up. Please don't let me screw this up. So I was using paints and alcohol markers. There was no way it was going to be easy to clean. Oh, it was nerve-wracking for sure. It was fun to work on, but like honestly, I am so glad to have it out of my house because all of that light pink or white fur is so nerve-wracking when you have multiple pets. It's like, all right, we're gonna put it away and hopefully keep the cats away from it and nobody mess with it and you know, don't be working on it and then accidentally drop it on the floor and it gets dirty and oh. Light colored materials, whether it's fabric or faux fur or clay or what have you, are always way more nerve-wracking for me to work with than darker colors. So I'm so paranoid I'm gonna get it dirty or get a stain on it and then have to redo sections all over. I am very excited for Briar's Leviathan because it's Anubis, so it's like, oh, we're black and gold. Okay, cool. Obviously, I want it to come out amazing, but at least it's not going to be as much of a nail biter as like, oh, white clay, white fur, white everything. I legit don't know how seamstresses who work on wedding dresses do it. I would be freaking terrified, man. Like, hey, this is someone's really special dress for their really special day, and it's white. Be like, don't come near me with coffee, don't come near me with tea. Just don't come near me. Just don't be anywhere in the immediate vicinity of where I am at with this dress. That's a you gotta have nerves of steel kind of situation. Do I want... What I do want is I want to fix up that spot on your neck because I don't like it. just don't come anywhere near me. That would be me if I ever had to work customer service again, like retail customer service. Like, nope, just don't be where I am. be anywhere else. Ugh. All right. I think 2 coats is enough? Probably. But it's red. Am I going to do 3 coats just to make sure? Yes. Yes, I am. But he's still soggy. I need to wait for a 3rd coat. Hey! I could do one of these little dudes. Because that's going to be super easy. I just want to do the obsidian and see how that works on him. So I sculpted and then molded and then slip cast these tiny little corvid bud vases. So he's got the little hole so you can like. I don't have a. Oh wait, I do have a flower. I have a polymer clay flower. It counts. So you could take like a little single. I don't know. Hi. Hello. Do you need to bark at a squirrel on the street? Okay. All right. Go. Oh my word. My God, do we have an Amazon delivery? I didn't think we did. Losing his ever-loving mind. Security system? Yeah, sure. We have dogs. Dude, it's not even our Amazon delivery, it's the neighbor. Puppy, enhance your calm. Oh my gosh. Little man is losing his ever-loving mind. He is on alert big time. Yeah, like he's not as vicious as he tries to make himself sound. But man, nothing walks down our street or drives past or anything without us knowing about it. So yeah, what I was saying before Borkageddon, is I made these little bud vases, and they're fun because they're hollow. Obviously, they're a vase. But to be able to put little like single flowers into, and I want to say I made like I think a half a dozen of them, maybe, possibly. Ooh, but then as I was casting them, I had a moment of whimsy. 3, 4, 5, 6. Oh, I have 7. Cool. I have 7 of them normally. I think that's because I wanted half a dozen to sell, but I wanted one for myself. And then there's this little guy with his fabulous little top hat. What I'm gonna do is once everything is glazed and fired, I'm gonna do a little blob of epoxy sculpt on this so that it fits directly into the hole. I wasn't sure with like shrinking and rates of shrink, but I can do it with epoxy, and then it'll just have, or maybe I'll just do cork, a little plug, so that we can have a little sussy magpie bud vase. I couldn't resist. It looks like he's got weird growths down the sides of his neck. Beware of shrinkage. Yes. Oh God, I forgot about you, my weird little dude. You are so hideous. So there's one of them that the cast didn't quite come out right, and so I said to heck with it, and I just poured it solid and filled it, and it cracked weird. So I thought he looked like a monster, so I gave him little arms. I don't know what I'm gonna do with him. But he's this weird, freaky little. He's got little arms, and his head kind of flip tops into a mouth, and he's got no feet, so he doesn't even stand up on this. I don't know what the hell I'm gonna do with him. And he's solid clay, so he probably weighs like a quarter of a pound. He's ridiculous. I'll figure out something to do with him. I don't know. Maybe find a bright neon colored glaze, something really obnoxious, and glaze him and just stick him out in the garden. Ooh, I forgot about these too. All this stuff that I made with like little scraps of clay that I completely forgot. I should probably glaze them. Oh, oh, you know what'd be kind of cool? So I made worry stones just because they're fun and kind of satisfying, and it's just literally a little blob of clay that I'll, I don't know, underglaze something or just glaze something and have fun little worry stones. But then I also did a rune set. And I think what I want to do with these is I want to water down a glaze and just stain them. Like I don't want to glaze them. I don't want to completely cover them. I just want to stain and fire them so that they stay a little bit rougher, not completely smooth. Because I think it would give them sort of a neat antiqued look. I think I've got brown glazes. I must have something. So yeah, we'll see. What time is it? I'm not gonna have enough time to do these today. I was like, oh, maybe I could do them now. No. It's that ADHD, my friends. Working on a thing. Oh, wait, I forgot about this thing. Maybe I could do something with this thing. Focus! Oh. But yeah, I've got more of the little Corvid bud bases. I've got, actually some fun little small teacups, like little just fit in your hand teacups that I am totally going to use to experiment with different glazes. Alright, but if I'm gonna, whew, I love my space heater. It's actually getting too warm in here for me, which is saying something. Alright, how am I gonna do this? Do I want to latex your eyes? It's kind of a pain. No, I'll just X-Acto it off, because honestly, it's gonna be thick enough. I have latex, and if you're doing a, Fogo de Chao is nice, but, Jen can't do red meat, and while I know they have other availability, like they've got pork, they've got chicken, we haven't done Fogo de Chao in a while just because it feels a little bit like, oh, well, you know, you're paying for all these meats and one of your party can't eat like half of what's on tap, so it feels a little unfair. Plus, she doesn't often treat herself or you know, I don't know. She doesn't like making a big deal about her, so I'm like, no, we gotta, this is your weekend, friend. It's actually gonna be nice. It's been forever since I've done a convention where I'm not actively selling. It's like, nope, I am there to assist you and help and make sure that you remember to eat food and hydrate and are able to take breaks when you need to. It's gonna be kind of refreshing. I'm looking forward to it. And honestly, I'm excited for her because I think it's really cool that Furthermore is acknowledging her work and her talent, so that's super fucking cool. This is the point where telekinesis would be useful. I'm just gonna levitate the thing that I'm working on that I'm running out of places to hold. Oh, that's gonna be a pretty one. Sorry, it's always neat with this glaze in particular when I get like the big chunks of frit because I know what color it ends up. So I'm like, oh, where can I put that that'll look really cool? It's funny, there's a Fogo de there's a Fogo de Chao at Anthrocon, near Anthrocon. We used to do Fogo de Chao Thursday nights at MFF because there's one not too far away, and that was the big thing. A whole bunch of us would go, and we would go there for Meat Fest Thursday night and have like the one really good meal before convention weekend where we're all running and working and barely having time to like stop and breathe. And then obviously COVID happened, and then Jen doesn't do red meat anymore. I really don't either because I find that it upsets my stomach a lot. I was never a really big red meat eater, but I got to the point where eating it usually meant a very unpleasant evening for me, so it's like, meh. And honestly, I think it's just an age thing because I do not recall having been bitten by a tick. I tend to be really almost paranoid levels of careful because ticks freak me the fuck out. But I don't know. I don't know. It's funny, it's like when I found out I was mildly allergic to peanut butter. Nothing serious, but just like I get kind of a sniffly nose and an itchy throat. Thankfully it's super mild. But because of that, I was like, oh, well, you know, I can give up peanut butter, I can give up peanuts. That one's fairly easy. Little did I know, it's freaking everywhere. But like now, I don't even like the smell of it. For example, last night I was making cookies for the dogs, and I make these pumpkin peanut butter cookies that they absolutely love and devour. And when I'm mixing the liquids into the dry ingredients, I tend to microwave the peanut butter just because it makes it runnier and it makes it incorporate easier. So I microwaved the big jar of peanut butter last night, and then taking it out of the microwave to mix it in, and I caught a whiff, and it was just like, ugh. So it's funny. I've gotten so used to doing almond butter now that the smell of peanut butter actually is actively unpleasant to me. Which sucks because I used to love it. But now it's just like icky. No, yuck. This, I think I am going to want to make a little bit more fluid because this glaze is a little on the thick side, and that's fine. But for this particular instance, I want something that pours a bit more fluidly. So I've got my obsidian glaze that's going to have its little pops of blue. And so, since obviously this is a tiny bud vase, you want the inside to be waterproof. But if I do this, then I can just pour it in and pour it out. Yeah, it's interesting because peanut butter is one of those things that peanuts smell so strongly, and I think that's part of it. That's part of why I'm like, ick. Because I've gotten used to not having it, and now when I smell it, it feels overpowering. See, I tried sunflower butter because my friend swore by it. It's alright. I don't love it. I do genuinely like the taste of almond butter. There's a brand Barney's that makes. Lo and behold, I discovered I like crunchy. Because they make a crunchy almond butter and it's so freaking good. But I could not get into the sunflower butter as much. I think because it's got, at least the one that I tried, had a really high oil content. And that was sort of a turnoff for me. Though honestly, most of the other nut or seed butters, and especially the natural ones, they don't always have something in them to emulsify and keep them from separating. So see, that's the funky thing. I really like sunflower seeds. I just don't like the butter. Is that ridiculous? No, I mean, I guess to be fair, I've only tried. Oh no! No, I did not want that. I've only tried the one brand, so I don't know. Maybe I like sunflower seed butter, maybe I just didn't like that particular brand. Because I found it very oily. It's okay. It's okay. We got it. Oh, I love sunflower. Like, I eat sunflower seeds just as is, same as I do pumpkin seeds. I eat them shell and all. Are you not supposed to do that? Oh no! I'm learning new things. I was today years old when I realized you're not supposed to eat sunflower seeds. Nah, dude, I always eat the shells. One of my favorite things about October and Halloween is usually the grocery stores by us, like I will absolutely save the shells of our pumpkins, but also the grocery stores near us tend to mark down any pumpkins they have left, so I'm like, yes. And this past year I grabbed a why would you want just like a cup of shells with your spit? That's so gross. It's shells, it's food, it's part of the seed. I don't know, we're weird. That's okay, I'm okay with being weird. But no, our local grocery store this year marked down their pumpkins because, like, they way over ordered and, you know, people only need so many pumpkins. And so I got the biggest freaking one I could, and man, I farmed every single one of those seeds. And I did half of them with salt, and then I did the other half with a little bit of cinnamon. Oh, they were so good! Just like sprinkle them and toss them in the oven for a little bit to dry up and toast. Oh, nom, 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 nom. Delish. Oh, interesting. So it's not chewing tobacco, it's sunflower seeds? See, my brain grew a new wrinkle today. I've learned a new thing. I mean, sunflower seed shells are way less gross to be spitting than tobacco, so there's that. Yay. Huh. Well, that's good. It's good that they are making healthier choices. You're an athlete. Why would you poison your body with that? Sunflower seeds make way more sense. Oh, I used to freaking love. God, see, we're dating ourselves. I used to love the grape Big League Chew. It not only tasted amazing, but it smelled so freaking good. That and what is it, like Hubba Bubba or Bubble Yum gum? The grape was so intense and smelled so good. I think that's why I like the fettuccine grape gummies that come from Japan. My kid absolutely adores them, and afterwards when they're done with the bag, I'm like, just let me smell the bag, let me sniff it, because it's that really super intense grape smell that smells so freaking good. I remember that, God, like the Dimetapp grape flavor. It's funny because their hair isn't colored right now, but we bleached a couple little streaks and did them when they wanted hair color. And I used Arctic Fox because it's vegan, and they don't test on animals, and it's less harsh. It also has the incredible side perk of, for whatever reason, Arctic Fox hair dye smells like grape bubblegum. It is amazing. I'll dye their hair and then they'll blow dry and I'll just be like, let me huff your hair. It's so good. Totally normal mom moments, you know. It does though. I'm so used to hair dye being vile and nasty and smelling awful, so it does. It smells amazing. And it's weird because like grape bubblegum is not a scent that you would normally think of as a hair dye smell, but it's amazing. It smells so good. And their hair has this like light grape scent for a day or two after we dye it. It's nice. I like the colors. The purple was a little bit rough. It didn't stay as vibrant as long as we would have liked, but I have come to find that purple is just, it's one of those hair dye colors that does not like to stay. They have a, forget what the actual name of the color is. I want to say it's Poseidon. It's this aqua teal color. It is so heckin' pretty, and it lasts for ages. Like, that color stuck in their hair for months and months without us touching it up. It was pretty cool. To the point where when they wanted to change it, I was like, we are going to have to lightly bleach again because otherwise it's going to be green. Like, you're not going to get any color other than a weird kind of green tint with what you want, because there is still that teal in there at the base. But if that is your color that you are aiming for and you want something long lasting, I can definitely recommend it. Because not only is it pretty, but it smells pretty. Nice. I have vivid memories of when I was younger, my mom dyeing her hair, you know, at home with like the Revlon box kits. And God, that stuff was freaking noxious. It was awful. They have a crazy wide palette of colors too, which is nice. I have used the red before, which hung around for a decent time. My hair sheds dye really, really quickly. It just doesn't like to absorb it, or it absorbs it and then it dumps it really quick. But the red lasted decently long on me. That teal, though, I was actually kind of bummed when they decided to change it out because it's a really pretty. It makes me think of like those iridescent beetle wings. Especially when the sunlight hit their hair, it looked like beetle wing color. It was really pretty. It's funny, if there's one thing that going back to ceramics after so many years away has taught me, it's patience. because, like, with acrylics, if this were a polymer clay sculpture that I had, like, I don't know, done a solid color and I was painting details, I do 1 coat, maybe 2 if it's white acrylic, just because getting that to cover is kind of a pain in the butt. And that's it. But usually it's just 1 coat. Ceramics, if you want those vibrant solid colors, you've got to do multiple coats. You've got to let them fully dry in between while the clay is like absorbing the moisture. You've then got to wait until they are completely dry to be able to fire them. And that's after having sat around and waited for them to dry enough to bisque fire them the first time. And once they're fired, you have to wait for the kiln to cool down completely before you can open it and see what they look like. So it's this big, long kind of hurry up and wait game. And for someone who had grown more accustomed to polymer clay and thus more accustomed to kind of instant gratification, you know, it's, oh, I have finished sculpting the thing. I will put it in the oven. Cool, the oven has dinged. It is done. I now get to see my finished piece. Or I get to paint, you know, final details and finish my piece and see it and have it be done. This has been super interesting. But not in a bad way. In a, oh hey, it's teaching me to kind of take a breath and slow down. And I would almost say appreciate the journey to get there. Maybe not more so than the finished product, but at least as much as. I think that's why I find ceramics more relaxing than other mediums, at least for me. Forces you to unclench a bit, you know? All right. In here seeing a fuzz and going, I don't really have to take that off. Yeah, but I'm gonna just because it bugs me. Okay. That is it on my red. And the base is dry enough that now I can do the glossy black. Yes. Now, just want to get these kind of a glossy, inky black, like a solid shadow color. It'll be really interesting to see what this looks like once it's glazed, or once the glaze is fired. I'm very curious. Because the base for the obsidian is a glossy black too, even though it looks very matte right now, so. Curious to see what it's gonna look like. I have a vision in my head, and I'm hoping that it's at least close, but we'll see. It's funny, it looks almost bluish gray, doesn't it? The base. And I mean, this black gloss will get lighter too. You can already see that it's starting to dry, and it's closer to that base color, but glazes are so funny to me because there's times when the color that you're painting on, that you're glazing on, looks nothing like what it fires at. And so again, it goes back to that, just trust the process. Like I have a blue glaze next to me. It's blue rutile? Yeah. And it looks pink when you paint it on. Or very pinkish purpley. Definitely not what I would expect for a blue. I've got a few of them like that. The gold is really weird. The gold float glaze, it looks black. It dead on looks like you are just glazing something black until it fires. And you have to have enough coats of it, and then it floats a gold color. But it looks nothing like that once you first put it on. Chemistry. It's bisque fired, but I'm still having to be slightly cautious with these tentacles. I shouldn't grab them like that because they are thin enough. There we go. Definitely want to give those at least one more coat, if not two, but I'll let that dry for now. That's drying really quick, come to think of it. Alright, now we stop and we stretch. Oh, I felt my spine pop. Oh. Okay. I need to go get some clean water again, because we're doing his white underbelly and facial markings, and although it should be, like, maybe I'll get a little bit of yellow and tint it ever so slightly, because, you know, boy's a little grimy. This is definitely not the color I want his underbelly, so let's just dump this and rinse out our brush. Oh. Hey, kiddo. How'd your final classes go? Yay! Huh? Sure. Oh, lordy. Wonderful image. Oh, God. That is supposed to be held up. I mean, I'd say they got his essence for sure. I did that. There you go. It gets the point across. Did you do a French lesson? That's a no. At least one a day. All right. they're using Rosetta Stone for their school, and unfortunately, Rosetta Stone has also started using some AI bullshit, and it. I guess it's supposed to be like total immersion. They don't give you the English translation for the words, and I don't know. They showed me one of their lessons last night, and I was like, how are you supposed to actually learn the word? Because they show you a picture, but you're just guessing what that word actually is. And their response was, "Yup, it's exactly why I don't really speak French." So I don't know. We'll see. I mean, we'll see how it goes. Let's see. I want to do the white next, so we're gonna scoot you up just a wee bit. Hmm. I don't want a yellow underbelly, but it doesn't make sense to do it super bright white either. Oh boy, this is gonna be one of those. Break up all the dried clay on the inside. Let's move you back, friend. Oh, oh, it's so crusty. Gross. Oh, that is vile. Yuck. What even is this? Ick, 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 ick. Okay. So first we're gonna mix this. And then we're gonna clean the lid, because yuck. Oh. Blech. Alright, so now we're gonna try and clean up our workspace so it's not gross. Okay. this. Do I wanna I'm trying to decide if I want to make his face mask and underbelly ever so slightly yellow tinted, or if I want to tint it just a tiny bit gray, like a really light gray. I almost feel like that will look nicer. Because, like, it really depends on what resource you're using as to what color his face is. It also seems like it changes from season to season, so I don't know. I do not know. Let's see what I have a yellow that's only lightly yellow. I think I will do just a tiny, teensy bit, barely there, of yellow. And I think maybe a tiny bit of black. Weird as that might sound, I want to get somewhere in between a very light gray and a little bit sickly yellowish. Oh my god, this glaze has gotten so thick. So we're just going to use just the tiniest little bit of black, barely there. Just a smidge. And then, let's see, is this one going to open for me or is it going to be glued shut? No, wow. You can tell I haven't used this one much. Okay, now I've got my tiny bit of yellow. The problem is I'm going to have to put that brush off to the side because I do not want to clean the yellow. In the container. Now I can. I don't want to turn the water that I'm cleaning my brush super yellowy, because then that's going to affect the color of the glaze. Do. Is this going to be enough for everything? Maybe. I'm gonna do the face last. It'll be interesting to see what this fires. It looks a little bit more gray than I maybe originally intended, but that's all right. You want to figure out a way to do the rib markings, but that's curving through 3 layers of glaze. I don't feel like I want to do that. Sorry. I'm looking at like a really kind of interesting an interesting take on Alistair's deer form, and it looks really cool, but Just looking at different inspiration images and going, oh, I like that. I like this part better. Kind of cobbling together sort of a combination of his canon patterning and fan versions. Yeah, I am too. I think it'll be really neat. It would be so much easier if I did latex on those eyes so I didn't have to go around them. Nah, I'm not gonna do it. I'm not gonna do it. I'm just gonna deal with it and I don't know. Scrape it off the eye before I paint the eye, maybe. It's funny because the first time I did this, I carved his teeth, like his smile. And I was debating glazing it on, painting it on this time, but it's like, you know what? I don't necessarily think it needs it. I'm going kind of simple and cleaner stylistically. Maybe once I get the white on, I'll like carve just a little bit of a jagged, just a line for the smile and darken it, because I don't necessarily want to do every single tooth, but it does feel like him without his smile is a little bit off. I just pull him over on his nose where I had just glazed. Kind of, sort of, maybe. I'm super fucking excited to, sorry, pardon my language, super freaking excited to see how he comes out of the kiln. I'm really hoping it's at least close to what I'm picturing, but we'll see. Sort of trying to be strategic about where I'm glazing first and where I'm glazing last, because by doing his legs last and his ear tips last, I can still lean him on those parts while I'm getting the other bits. That looks like a sickly gray, which is kind of what we're hoping for, so. Alright. So. I am getting huffed at by the puppy so very much. I think this is his mother. Mother, I want to go outside. And here's the secret. I took them out right before I started my stream. He's like, Mother, dying, have not been out to potty in a million years. You're a liar. Never. Really what it is, Mother, there is only so much snow left, and I must snuffle and stomp through and dig through all of what is left before the rain makes it go completely away. Never in my life seen a southern breed of dog so excited for snow. Hope likes it, but she's not 100% sure about it. Especially as much as we got and as deep as it is. She's like, yeah, this is cool, but okay, I'm done, I'm over it. Not Wilder, man. He loves to just shove his nose in it and bulldoze. I think he'd be happy if it snowed 10 months out of the year. There we go. I knew I had a needle tool in there somewheres. Pull this and do this without smudging anywhere I don't want to. We'll see. Okay. So I know canonically his eyes are red I kind of want to make them green. But I don't have anything that's that weird, freaky, unearthly green that his voodoo symbols and whatnot end up becoming. At least not in glazes. I definitely have like glow-in-the-dark shit in acrylics, but I don't have it in glazes. So... part of me kind of wants to do them a light green in glaze. And then give a wash of glow-in-the-dark acrylic. Normally I would not do that for like a piece that I'm selling, but since he's for me, what do I even have that's light green? I do not know. Let's go look. Hello, puppers. Oh shoot, I just saw what time it is. Holy crap. Oh no! Oh, I'm so glad that didn't burst open. Sorry. Full container of glaze. I bobbled it. Thankfully, it did not explode. Because that would have been unpleasant. What do I have that's light green? That definitely needs to be mixed with water and mixed up to be viable again. I'm just gonna do jade. I think, maybe. Yeah. I'm gonna do jade. Because I know what it ends up looking like, I know what it ends up firing as. In theory, there should not be any surprises. In theory. It's funny because there are glow-in-the-dark glazes, but they tend to be low fire, and the place that I go to fires at cone 5, cone 6. So not only would a low fire glaze run all over the place and not stay where I wanted it to, but at that high a temp, the glow pigments would basically get fried out, so... Hmm. Sorry, that got smudgy and went where I did not want it to go. Yay. Right, I was able to easily fix it. It's hard because glazes are so unlike paints. With paint, you're like, oh, I went over the line a little bit. No big deal. I'll just get like a nice opaque white and I'll paint over it. Glaze goes, ha ha ha, you think so, huh? Congrats, we're gonna show everything through. It's a little bit like working with the world's most temperamental watercolors. You have to be very cognizant of your layers and your light to darks. All right. Yeah, I had a moment 2 years back, I want to say, where I had a container of glaze open on the table here, and I had shaken it, and I stepped away, I think, to rinse out my cup of water or to like go to the bathroom. I don't think I was streaming at the time. But I was, you know, plodding away, getting stuff done, trying to get everything glazed in time for a glaze firing. And I went and like got a drink or rinsed my water cup or went to the bathroom or whatever, and I came back and I sat down and I'm like, all right, gotta do this glaze color now. And I grabbed it and I went to shake it, and I had literally just done like this. I had laid the lid on top of it. I hadn't screwed it on. So I grab it and full force of my arm, because the glaze is very thick, I go, Fwah! Oh my god. It was, and like I got that and then the like kickback all over the keyboard, all over the monitor, all over the desk, all over the piece that I had been working on, all over me, like soaked the entire front of my shirt, all over my face, in my hair. And of course it was the antique gold, so the glaze before fired looks like this, looks jet black. Dude. There was a moment of just fucking freezing in place and then literally bursting out into tears, and like, oh my god, it was awful. And it's funny because it was around the time the kid that was getting out of their classes, and they came into the room to be like, "Hey, Mom, how are you? Oh my God, what happened? Oh my God, are you okay?" And they were fucking amazing, man. Like, they got a roll of paper towels and they helped me clean up. But dude, it was, oh. So I definitely try and be more mindful and cognizant of where I'm putting my glazes, capping the lids, and just being cautious. Or if I cap the lids, like screwing them on entirely, not just placing them on. That's why I'm working with this instead of pouring some out and then just having the lid kind of perched up there. And it's awful because it's not that paint would be fun to clean up either, but glaze is so thick and gloppy, and you wipe it away, then it leaves this film of dust, and then you add water to that, and then it just gets gloppy again, and it's like, oh. So yes, very close call. I did not want to have to clean a glaze spill in the hallway. I am very grateful that the lid stayed on and nothing cracked. Glaze spills, especially catastrophic ones, are not fun to clean up. It's a lot, and it usually requires repeated cleanings to get all the dust completely cleaned up. I feel like every crafter has one of those stories for something or another. I remember, oh gosh, this was way back in the day, when the Worm game was newer, and I had Skiggles as one of the sculptors. She had come to visit for a weekend to get training done, just because it's easier in person. And I won't say this was before Zoom, but well, no, it may have been. Or it's when Zoom wasn't as widely used. So she was visiting for the weekend to get trained to sculpt particular breeds. And I remember sitting at our kitchen table, and I remember her asking for the bead bin, and I have it's large, it's over a foot long. And it's got probably 2 pounds of 6 and 4 millimeter gemstone beads, all sorted by color. And I went to go hand it to her because she asked for the bead bin, and like I felt her hands touch it, and I thought she had it, and she thought I still had it. Long story short, the bead bin slipped. It fell on the wood floor. The bin itself cracked, and the beads, just hundreds and hundreds of them, went everywhere. Like you hear the bing, 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 and just all these hundreds of bees rolling all over the kitchen floor, under the heat registers, just fucking everywhere. Because it was wood floors. There wasn't really any carpet in the room we were in. And I vividly remember us both just kind of freezing in place with this horrified look on our faces, like, oh shit. Yes, that crash, and then that moment of just dead silence of both of us going, fuck. We were at it for a good hour trying to chase them all down, and I am 1000% convinced that when we moved out of that house, there were still beads under the heat register and in random places that the new owners would have ended up finding. I've had paint spills and clay spills and glaze and other things. That was one of the, I won't say the most annoying, but just the most, oh, come on. Seriously. Like, I have gems, I have jewels. Khajiit has shinies if you have the coin. But I think it was more the look on both of our faces, the realization of what happened, and the realization that there were now hundreds of beads that we had to go try and, at least to the best of our ability, chase down and pick up. And the first 30 seconds I was like, just put them back in the bin. I don't even care about colors right now. Let's just pick them up and get them physically back in the bin. But yeah, it was just one of those moments where, like, you have to laugh. Because it's so fucking ridiculous. So yeah, the joys of crafting. It can definitely be an adventure at times. Ooh, oh my gosh. Alright. I actually think that I am going to oh no, I got white on this. Son of a gun. Alright, well, that's an easy fix. At least it's a lighter color. I think I'm gonna tap for now, just because I need to make sure that the small human is eating a food, because they are really, really bad at remembering to do that if they don't get nagged. Oh, and I would like to kind of stretch and move my back and maybe take a hot shower. Just a cold, yucky day here today. And sitting hunched over work for too many hours tends to make my spine crunchy. Oh. Ooh, yeah. God, when you sit up straight and lean back and the vertebrae just like pop, 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 pop right up the line. Oh, that is satisfying as hell. Yeah, definitely a food and hot shower break. But then I'll be back at this. I think it's a ceramics kind of day, and tomorrow I gotta start working on a very large worm, so big old a new boy. Yes, it is tremendously satisfying. I don't know any artists or crafters who don't know the shrimping pose. It's like, oh yeah, my back. Oh, were you shrimping for too many hours? And all of them just like, yeah, you know, that sort of guilty. So Briar tapped for her Leviathan commission because, you know, I've got the wait list for the last ride worms. And she wanted a Leviathan Anubis. So he's gonna be super duper pretty. I recently painted up the eyes for him and sent her a pic, and she was very excited. They're real pretty and shimmery and kind of make me think of the Flash of Labradorite, which makes sense because he's going to have a Labradorite cabochon set in his forehead. He gonna be pretty. He gonna be so pretty. So I'm excited for that. And I've got one for Crazy Worm Lady that is a standard, and I've got a couple more on deck, but they're waiting for their handlers to be ready to move forward. So he gonna be a pretty boy, yes, most definitely. But I will continue this little dude when I can, and I will absolutely share pics when he is fired and done to show y'all what he looks like. Thank you so much for the company and the support and hanging out with me today while I mess with my liquid earth dirt. I hope everyone has a phenomenal weekend and a great rest of your day. Stay warm, stay cozy, stay safe. Bleh. See, this is why I need food. I can't talk. Maybe more caffeine. But everyone have a great weekend. And no, wait, let's do that way. There we go. Yay! One of these days I'll figure out why my stream is upside down, but thank you for your company. All the best. And I'll see you next week. Bye for now.